Good morning.
Five, six.
I remember Ann that used to own it or run it or whatever. She was there on Main Street.
Yeah.
Used to go and she used to give me donations all the time, ice cream. Yeah. Just to give it to my clients and stuff. She was
Very
a sweetheart. Very favorite with them. And then the drivers started to like there's problems, you know. Jump ship.
Salem, I love your Zoom photo. Oh, thanks. They look very excited.
So. Who's talking about?
Lakes. It doesn't look like a mill.
Camille's behind her name.
Rich has written.
Matt. Forum. 8.
We have, it's a simple majority, and one more than half. 4, right?
Yeah, and I think we've had, I think it's 8, but we're only at 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6.
How many, I don't, off the top of my head, sorry, how many
I think it's 8.
members do we have?
Because Lamprey's not yet in.
No,
And
I kind of picked up on how to say it.
Greater National Mental Health isn't it yet, right?
People say, wow. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh.
Can get in the car.
You're a lifesaver.
Yeah.
You're at 7.
Not there yet, almost.
They use AI.
Oh, I know, I've noticed the technology.
Hi, how are you? Welcome.
I was able to do everything. It's really
Grab something to
good.
drink, something to eat,
School.
agenda, sign in, and welcome.
Thank you. Sky's my mule days. It's readable this long.
So Victoria,
Hi, thank you for having me.
hi, you know what? We're on the cusp of a quorum issue here, contrary to our emails, but I'm glad you could come on Zoom.
Are you just down the one?
Yeah, we're just down the one. That's okay. We'll persevere. I think what we'll do is this.
Thanks.
I really do want to follow the rules that are set out by the state. If we get one more member, we can, have an official meeting and do voting in that. But we're all here and we're all on Zoom. I think it's worth the discussion and worth moving forward with at least the information items that we have. And some introductions. We've got some visitors today, some new people. So why don't we start on Zoom? Actually, I'll start right here. My name's Janet Langdell. I work with the Sewing Valley Transportation Collaborative, and I have the distinct pleasure of being the chair of the RCC7. Out on Zoom, and Matt's going to help me with names. I'm going to start with Victoria because I know who you are. Hi, Victoria from Granite State Independent Living.
Hi guys, like Janet said, Granite State Independent Living. I'm actually filling in alternate today for Deb Ritzy, who also works for GSIL. I'm her executive assistant. One of us have to be in office, which is why I'm remote.
Thank you.
I can read them off. if
Yeah,
I-
you want to go up? Yeah.
Sure. Okay, Amy from NCC. Just say hi, whatever.
Hi, I'm Amy from Nashua Community College. I've had conversations with Donna Marso recently about transportation being a barrier for our students for higher education. So she invited me to join this meeting.
Welcome. And that's secondary education, higher education, transportation, along with employment transportation are 2 of those hot button items. So welcome. Thank you for coming. Go ahead, Matt.
Okay, Mr. Leach.
Hi, Jim Leach with Harbor Care Veteran Services. employment specialist, and kind of a new guy, still learning my way around here.
Thanks, Jim.
Welcome.
Lisa Ludwigson.
Hi, Lisa Ludwigson, Easter Seals. I'm actually attending for Angelique today. She's kind of tied up in a CTNA meeting, so
Welcome. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks,
no
Lisa.
problem.
Nani, say hello.
Good morning, everybody. Nani Ebuano of the Main Street United Methodist Church. Well, an elder. I speak on behalf of my fellow elderly people.
Thanks, Nani. Charles Lewis.
Good morning. I'm Charles. I am an SCC member representing the Commissioner of the Department of Education. Unfortunately, I couldn't fit the travel down to you guys in my schedule this morning, so here I am in reality.
That's
Thank you.
great, though. We're gonna rely on you, Charles, for maybe a little SCC update later on.
I'm here.
All right, Camille.
Good morning, Camille Correa, the Transit Administrator for Nashua Transit System, and I'm here with Nick Shelberg, the Communications Specialist for Nashua Transit System.
Hi all. Hey, Nick. Thanks,
Nick.
Camille. And the rest of those
Okay.
entities, I believe, are people's
Yep.
automatic note-taking services, so
Yep.
we don't need to introduce those people.
Yeah, Fireflies last time was Cher, Williams is, I think, Bill Air, and Read AI meeting. Who knows? Okay, let's come around, let's get into the
Anyway.
in-person part of this. Sarah,
Sarah Caesar from United Way.
Mary Ann Gamache, Greater Nashua Mental Health.
Carrie Miller from the Nashua Transit System.
Carol Brooks, Sohegan Valley Transportation Collaborative.
Marcy Stanton, I'm here representing Lineborough, although they don't know it yet. I'm here to get information about transportation.
welcome, Marcy. And we met Marcy at the Sohegan Valley Sustainability Fair.
Yes, yes.
Welcome,
Thank you.
welcome.
John Arquezzo with Meals on Wheels.
Rocky Morelli from Opportunity Networks.
James Wilkie with Caregivers.
Sana Michelino from Lamprey Healthcare.
Margaret Lorette, Nashua resident.
Donna Masso, the Regional Mobility Manager here at NRPC for the RCC7.
I'm Salem Quinn, Administrative Communications Coordinator here at NRPC.
And Matt Watkins, transportation staff here at NRPC.
All right, before we get to the approval of the minutes, which we can't really do, I just want to jump in real quick and I just want to acknowledge, we all know, I'm sure we all know by now, that April is National Volunteers Month and this week happens to be National Volunteers Week. So thank you, because many of you here are, yes, maybe part of your job, but I'm sure you do some outside volunteer work. I know we all have volunteers that we rely on in all of our organizations, whether they're giving a ride, delivering food, stuffing envelopes, fixing bikes or whatever. So it's just an important thing and we want to say thank you. And please have some balls and take a few home with you. We've got peppermint and milk chocolate, as well as the other in the sundry treats that we provide here during our meetings. I didn't want to acknowledge that. It just amazes me every year when they come out, when the defense sector comes out with the value of volunteer hours, volunteer time in each state. And again, the national average has gone up, but the New Hampshire average is $35.96 an hour. Now, I know New Hampshire DOT uses a different amount for volunteer drivers, but still, when you take that $35.96 and you multiply it by the number of volunteer hours that you have in your organization, it's a big number, I'm sure.
For us, it was 380,000. That's how much it was worth, which is great.
Now, think if you had to have like a multitude of Festival of Fives to afford that $300,000.
Well, that would be fun.
It would be fun, but it would take you all
It
year.
would take me all year, yeah.
They just had one of their big fundraisers a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
That said, the minutes. Does anyone have any proposed changes or corrections to the minutes? We won't vote on them, but at least we can get the housekeeping part of it done. Anybody on Zoom, anybody in the room? All right. And we will move on. As I mentioned before we got started, to those of us who are in the room, unfortunately, our guest presenter, George from the Lowell Regional Transit Authority, had a conflict and he didn't let us know until late yesterday afternoon, so we couldn't reschedule anyone. But they are going to be coming in May at our May 28th meeting. So that may give them a little bit more time as they flesh out their advertising pieces, and all the pieces and parts to this come together for this new Lowell route, the Nashua connections, and then the Manchester connections, which I think would be really good.
Yeah, and Janet, just to kind of add something to that, and Donna and I were talking about, it's going to be really important to advertise that route, right? The one-year pilot project, and we really need to let people know that that route is going to be happening. So as soon as we don't technically have the any real outreach materials yet, I know, but so when we have them, we'll let you know. And
as Camille will attest,
Yeah.
Since I heard about it, I've been asking about it because, we certainly want to be able to publicize it in some way. I know that we have an event coming up at the beginning of May, and I'm going to gin up something to at least let folks know that it's coming down the road, even if we don't have the official map and all the information. But just to kind of start getting the word up. Yeah, it's going to be really important, and whatever documents they have, we certainly can email out to everyone. And if you can put it in your newsletters, share it with staff, share it with your volunteers. When we get it out on Facebook, whoever the primary source is, whether it's NTS or Lowell, and reshare that information, that would be great. Because unfortunately, what we've seen is some things that are pilots, they look like they're doing good, but a year isn't necessarily the full length of time to really get a pilot going. And as we saw up in the Concord area, after a year of working on their Laconia route, they had to pull it back because it just didn't have the ridership. This has more promise, though, I think, especially around some of the secondary education for folks that want to get down to Lowell to go to school down there, or folks that want to be in Lowell and come up here to either go to NCC or Riviera. Options, possibilities. Okay, so under the statewide coordinating council, I just want to throw in a couple of things in your packets this year or this month. You got some information about the upcoming SCC, which is the State Coordinating Council, Community Transportation, and the New Hampshire Transit Association's annual meeting in June. It's going to be Thursday, June 4th. More information will be coming out about the pricing on that. As usual, it's probably going to be something like X number of dollars before a certain date, and after that, it's going to go up. It's an all-day conference. It's going to feature a lot of guest panels and speakers. We don't have the full agenda yet, but they have let us know that we are to proceed with the notion that there will be funding for the regional community transportation champions this year. For those of you who were here last year, you'll remember that they said, yep, we're going to do it. And then they didn't have the funding and they decided not to do it in June. They'd like us to proceed. So in your packets, there was a request for nominations. If anyone would like to nominate an organization, an individual, a staff member, a volunteer, a driver, somebody delivering food, anything within that realm of community transportation, as stated by the SCC, awards are envisioned to honor individuals or organizations that have gone above and beyond in their service to your customers, within the organization, across your community, and however else you want to measure excellence in the field of public transit and/or community transportation. Just so you know, there's a parallel set of awards it goes out to. And those are from the transit organization. So NTS will have one, Coast, MTA, and then the regional coordinating councils get to do one too. So there'll be two sets. The awardees will be invited if they're available. They'll get free lunch. They can come for the day or just come for the awards ceremony. But they'll be invited to participate if they'd like to in a panel of talking about why they want to do what they're doing and just talk about community transportation and the impacts. Charles, have you got any more information about this that you'd like to share?
Other than what was sent out, no, I don't, not at the moment.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yep.
So what was the expense that funding couldn't be secured for? Was it just lunch?
No. It was the cost of the plaques and trophies that
okay.
they give out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, the SCC has no money.
Understood.
They parse money around, but they have no money of their own. And they didn't think to get a sponsor in advance. I believe that Brad Nichols, who sent this out, I believe that group, he and Sidhiansky, and I'm not sure if it's Terry that's working on that or not, are looking for a sponsor.
Understood. Thank you.
You're welcome. So if you have somebody you'd like to nominate, I will send out an email via Salem as a reminder. But if you can just send the nominations to me, what we'll do is exactly what we did last year. We'll compile all the nominations and then the executive committee will review them and come up with the selection. But there's some deadlines on this. So if we get nominations by May 1st, that gives us sufficient time to go through them and do the magic that we need to do. So that's that. Only other, well, that's later on. So anyone got SCC, Charles, anything else you'd like to throw in here for an SCC update?
Nothing in particular other than the discussion on the executive summary, the SCC's goals for the year, the goal 1 for communication between the SCC and the RCC. Have you sent any recommendations or comments to Angelique about the form that was sent out?
Angelique was here when we had our discussion, and she and I have had some other discussions, so I haven't sent anything in. But I will touch base with her later this week or early next week to confirm that she has the sufficient information from what this group talked about.
Okay, yeah, it's just going to be a manner in which to improve the communication back and forth, both from the regional councils to the SCC and us responding, and hopefully as it becomes in use, we can share successes and common problems and, more importantly, solutions that people have found to some of the common problems throughout all of the regional councils. So we're just hoping that it can help all the way along.
Yeah, and the SCC work group had what was a very productive meeting a couple of weeks ago in Concord. And a lot of great ideas and clarifications came out to make this simpler, easier to use, but to really get to the heart of the information that the SCC needs. And more than likely, the information that the RCCs would like to see shared. It's very difficult to find out what's going on in Region 10 that's a success or a challenge. So able to share that information because we're all probably in the same boat. But we don't have a lot of communication means in place at this point.
Right, and that's really the whole purpose of this document, to improve that.
Anyone else like to toss in? Camille, are you still up there? Nope, she's away from her desk. All right. Moving on, Donna. How's about an update from our regional mobility manager?
Sure, a lot of activities this month. April tends to be busy because we don't have the snow or the cold weather, but this year we had the cold weather. So anyway, so I'll start with the emergency management meeting. And one of the focus was the transportation is important, so people know that. And I also mentioned Commute Smart. That's a good thing for people to sign into, and people don't know about that. It's definitely something that it's ride share, but you have to be on it, and then there has to be a match with somebody else. So then the Milford, good to see you, Marcy. The Milford Sustainability Fair, we met, and that was great because hopefully Lydenborough will get more service, and this will be productive as well. So thank you for coming today. It's appreciated, and that was a great fair, by the way, sustainability. There's also one this Saturday here in Nashua. Are you gonna go, Carrie?
Yeah, I was gonna talk more about that.
Oh,
so
good.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So they do sustainability. So that's a good thing to go, get the word out, get various people that go to these fairs. Now that supposedly the weather's supposed to be good. I don't know what Saturday's weather is, but it'll be here. So thank you, everybody, James, as well as Janet, Camille, Nick, and Kerry about the CTNA transportation, as well as CTVC also participated in the Greater Salem. So we had 100% from our core providers for the Community Transportation Needs Assessment, which has been a project of the SEC. And so thank you, everybody. I know Steve Workman was probably pretty happy to see 100% from our region at the core. So that's great.
That was a provider survey that went out as one final branch for the statewide community transportation needs assessment. So hopefully that they're having a meeting today about that. There was a conflict, but there was a meeting today to kind of like finalize that. So hopefully in May, they'll have the structured presentation for the outcome of that. I guess that's a way to put it, maybe.
So also the public health fair at the Nashua Public Library. And thank you to Nashua Transit, Nick and Camille, because I felt like I was really part of it when you brought me up to this stage too. So thank you for that, because you didn't, Camille, you didn't have to do that, but that was appreciated. So, and that was a good recognition of lots of community groups we recognize this. So that was great. And then I always go to the Elder Wrap at the Nashua, Greater Nashua Mental Health on West Pearl Street. And I always see Scott at that. And I always mention about transportation and pass out different things about us there for Elder Wrap, because there's so many people, social workers. Mike goes as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Scott and Mike, they're always there. But a lot of social workers go to that. So it's really a good way to figure out what's going on with the elderly population and find out different things. And Meals on Wheels goes sometimes too. So that's good if people go. So, and also I attended at the Chamber of Commerce Business After Hours at the St. Joseph's Hospital. So that was good outreach to St. Joseph's, as well as different people that have different, like one of our funders, St. Mary's Bank was there. I didn't see anybody from Rockland Trust, but it's always good to connect with those people too. Then at NCC, hi Amy, with Sarah, we did the digital equity group. So that was good, and donated a laptop, but also got something back for Amy too, which when Amy's here, we'll present it to her. So that's good, because that's that's a really good group because they're trying to help seniors and low-income people and people that don't have access to computers. They're really doing all those series of workshops at the Y, so that's definitely a very good thing. And then the Alliance for Healthy Aging has a transportation work group, which was a good overview. A lot of different people go to that, so that was the first time I went to that, but it was a good overview. And then last
What
night,
did they, from that work group, what were they discussing? What were the topics?
so the CTNA was one of the topics. And then just like how hard it is for elderly people to get transportation. That's always one of the issues there. So it's like in their mind that they know that transportation is one of their.
Was there discussion around things that are working in other areas that are success stories, or
Yeah, not
were there
something
any other
that-
takeaways? I guess where we're going with this.
So it was a good overview of what's going on in the state. So so that's what I'm reporting. So then yesterday I went to the Greater Salem Caregivers, the volunteer drivers event, and that was good. And I heard a lot that they only have 50 volunteer drivers, which that kind of surprised me. I would have thought they had more. It's Greater Salem. I don't know. It just didn't seem like that was enough to keep the whole program going. But
It seems like a really good number.
you think so?
Yeah. 50
50. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
50 volunteers.
for
Okay.
covering 3 communities. Salem, now Plastow, which
Right.
is new, and Pelham.
Right.
That's a good number.
So that,
Okay.
Donna, you said
Yeah.
5-0?
50.
Yeah, I mean, CVTC for the entire Monadnock region has, active drivers is 70 to 75 at any given
Yeah.
time.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So I was just a little surprised.
So that's pretty good.
I think Nani has a question.
Oh, go ahead, Nani.
Yes, thank you. I have a question about expiration date for the elderly person that has approval for transportation. Do you think that it's helpful enough for that elderly person? So what happens when that date expires? That's what I'm asking. Does it mean the elderly person won't get transportation from the transport when the person calls for transportation?
Maybe she's expiration for the.
Nani, are you asking about the Nashua Transit, like our paratransit service?
Nashua Transit, yeah, the approval letter has expiration date. So what happens?
Right, so when someone's registered on our paratransit service, it's the federal law, the Americans with Disabilities Act requires that you renew your eligibility every 3 years. So what happens is 3 months before your eligibility would expire, we send you a letter to letting you know that you can reapply for service. So I think I actually recently sent you a letter because I feel like I'm just remembering this. So what happens is like 3 months before you are set to like your eligibility would expire, we let you know so that you can let us know that you want to renew your service. So when you can call me, call us and say, hey, I want a new application. So you have to fill out a new application to renew your service. And the reason we send you the letter so early is so that your service doesn't ever there's no disruption in your service, so that so that you do it ahead of time and that there's no disruption in your service. So you're always gonna be able to ride our service. And even if you call us and it's close to the expiration time, we would extend you. I mean, we wouldn't so that you could get your new application filled out. We don't want to ever have anyone have a disruption in their service. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, I haven't received the letter, so I will get back to you if I don't get it. I will let you know.
That sounds good. And I'll maybe give you a call too. I'll just check, but I feel like I may have sent you a renewal notice sometime soon. So I'll let you know.
So they go up automatically?
Thank you very much.
Well, it's me, so I have
Yeah.
a log.
Oh.
So like I know when their eligibility expires, it's every 3 years. So like I have a log and it's by date, by month.
Right.
So I look, okay, what do I have for April? What do I have for May? And I
Okay.
send the letters out and then we send them 3 months in advance so that it
Which
gives
gives them
people
plenty
time
of time.
because you have to send part of your paratransit application to your medical provider.
Okay.
They fill out the last 2 pages of that, so that way
Mhm.
you have time to do your portion and then they have time to do their portion and then you
Okay.
can send everything in and gets reviewed and all that stuff, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
great.
Carrie,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
renewal is every 3 years?
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
But
Sorry,
thank you.
that's
It's
kind
okay,
of a
no, that's
mouthful,
fine,
sorry about
that's-
that.
So also too, last night, a lot of people were complaining about Medicaid. That's something that's been an issue, and so I was sitting with people and they were complaining about Medicaid. So just to mention that, so.
Medicaid rides.
Medicaid, yeah.
Medicaid rights, yeah, exactly, transportation for Medicaid, they were complaining about. So, so it's just something that continues to be a problem, and they don't really know what to do. So, so that, and also too, I met, Debbie Stosley, who's from the Merrimack County Savings Bank. So I just kind of put in a little thing about the community rides in terms of funding, and so she said, send me over something, so. So that would be good if she can do something. So now here's the statistics since the last meeting, March 26th. There have been 33 calls, and these are the what could not be filled because everybody's always interested in what we cannot fill. So 2 were people on Medicaid. And I was hoping, Marina's not here today, but I was hoping that the Transportation Equity Group could take on that. It's like one of their pet projects, Medicaid transportation, because I just feel like that would be a good project to take on. Somebody.
That's not that we couldn't fill the ride. They had another alternative.
Well, yeah, exactly, but it's a complaint. You know, my sense is that these people are complaining about Medicaid. So it's always a ride that we're not gonna be able to do anything about because they could go to Medicaid, but they.
Yeah,
don't wanna go
and
to
I'm just,
Medicaid.
I know I'm splitting hairs on it, but when, again, rides that the Greater Nashua Community Pilot Program, whatever, whether it's GCRMP, whatever it is. When you get a ride request and absolutely either we don't have a provider or whatever, and there's no other source of funding for it, that's a ride you can't provide, in my humble opinion. But if somebody has an insurance that would cover the ride and they can get a ride that way, then they've got a ride.
But it's still an issue. You know,
No,
it's an
I'm
issue.
not saying that Medicaid rides aren't an issue because, I mean, that's national.
Right, but why isn't somebody like looking at this? It's the poorest people on the bottom of the totem pole that are trying to get transportation. And why isn't somebody taking this on?
And that's that's one of the main topics that the SEC at their level has talked about, in my humble opinion, should be addressing. Because we have DHHS that's supposed to be sitting at the table,
Yeah.
you know, with transit,
Yeah.
with education, with representatives from the governor, with representatives from public and community transportation and rural transportation. You know, that was, I think, one of the premises 25 years ago for creating the SCC and putting all of those entities at the same table. So that's something that we can advocate, and I'm sure that through the regional mobility managers, the statewide network, to advocate for the SCC, maybe to take on as a champion. Sorry, Charles, we're just dumping it in your lap.
Yeah, and I think it really frustrates, I'm speaking for Donna here, but I know it's a big frustration for her and clearly others that this is these issues with the Medicaid transportation broker those issues are institutionalized. Sorry, they've been decades, or might not be decades. It's a long time.
Mhm.
And it's frustrating for a lot of people because, you know, it's institutionalized and there's not, as far as I can tell, there is nothing happening to make that better that I'm aware of.
One of the things that I noticed, I don't know, maybe you guys have noticed it too, but I've seen more ads from DHHS and from the providers about the program that you can get a caregiver or a friend or whatever to sign up for reimbursement for driving you. It's only within, I would think, the last 3 or 4 months that I really have seen a real push on that kind of advertising. And it must be through social media. So that may be one solution that they're looking at, thinking, you know, if I can get my buddy Rocky to sign up to help me with rides, it's more convenient and easier than trying to go through a taxi service or a livery service or whatever.
Okay. Based on the timing, could that be from that grant they received? Get funds for outreach?
You mean the federal grant? I don't think so.
I'm not connected. Just timing wise, it seems like they might be.
It seems like they might be, especially, did you see the one that about the North Country Council's community outreach worker or community services worker training? That just kind of started.
It's good to see
popping up.
movement in all these areas because they will spread and they are models for other people to duplicate.
I don't know. I didn't think of that, but who knows? Yeah, Salem.
I know that last time we talked about this ongoing issue with Medicaid, someone brought up, I think it was Angelique, that Able New Hampshire was thinking about having a listening session about issues with Medicaid, and it looks like their next Lunch and Learn on May 15th is going to be non-medical transportation service option, a deeper dive on everyday transportation benefits under New Hampshire Medicaid waivers.
It's just under the waiver program. So
yeah,
it may be a little bit different, but yeah, but they are well in tune with this too.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, not denying at all that it's a problem or whatever. And it's ongoing, but again, we can all advocate, but we can also, you know, expect leadership to advocate too. Since the players are all at the table.
And it sounds like everyone we were able to provide a ride to, we did. The only people we didn't provide rides to were Medicaid, those 2 calls for Medicaid.
No, I'm continuing on.
Okay.
There's other people as well too.
Okay.
So I do want to mention, you're right about the family and friends. And I do suggest that when people call me and they're on Medicaid, I say family and friends, investigate that. But the problem is a lot of these people don't have family or friends. They're really isolated. You know that, right?
Yeah.
The people
Yeah,
don't have
I know.
anybody that they can call to get, you know, a little bit of help. And
They expect us to take them to all their appointments and we have caseloads and we can't do it. And they don't have anyone else.
So that's the problem with the family and friends.
I do think that all these different programs, there's places to learn that can be applied across the spectrum with the different groups and the different needs. You know, the people on the waiver, I know who those people are. And yeah, that experience can maybe give us information to be able to build into other programs and help identify these needs. Because and what you're bringing up is very real and very important. You know, it has to work for these people. We have to find a way to connect these different types of services, and they're all being done kind of in silos.
So if there was a way to get a volunteer driver group or a group of volunteers to drive who would sign up for this to help the clients, again, it's creating something of a slightly different flavor in the hopes of not having to go through all the hoops and ladders that one might have to go through with federal funding.
I think it's good that all the groups are talking. I think it's good that we have direct input to the SCC and all those pieces, because we can make a difference if we gather all the right information and get it to the right sources.
Donna, other people that you couldn't provide rides to?
So one caller wanted a ride to the Mass Medical Centers, Mass Eye and Ear, and I've been back and forth with VIA a little bit, so I emailed them again just to see if they've had any contact with the Mass hospitals to try to get that going, because VIA is expensive, but maybe it could be that the Mass hospitals could pay for some of it, and then the person themselves could pay a little bit, so maybe we could try to braid the funding for that. I'm still hoping on that. So that was one person. And then with this bus to Lowell, that kind of hopefully that will take care of the MGH Lowell general transport for people. And so then what is left is like the Longwood side, which could be a good VIA project or some other kind of braided funding type. So another caller wanted the Exuda loan, which doesn't exist anymore, but I guess those.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Another caller wanted the Exuda. I'm just telling you who called and I couldn't give them anything on what they wanted. This was an Exuda $600 digital credit union loan that they were doing for people, no interest. But somebody called for that, so I just told them no. And then there was this, a social worker wanted a ride from Nashua to Milford, and I think Kerry remembers this 3 times a week, and that didn't seem like it could be done. But then we found out the person was actually going to be in Nashua for the treatment, so that came through too. So that's good. Yeah, so good, right? And then
Is that coming to Milford 3 times a week for
dialysis.
For dialysis?
Right, yeah.
That's interesting.
Kind of is what I think it's like one of those.
So they were able to find that person a spot here in Nashua. Yeah.
So that's good, right? That was.
I know the dialysis centers lately, I feel like they're they shop people around, to see who they could fit where. And some people are on like a later shift now. It's interesting. I didn't know they had a later shift. But
Yeah.
so, they try to fit people in wherever they can. Yeah.
They're running till late at night, yeah.
Yeah.
But to your point, there are a lot of people in Milford because of their insurance who actually have to go to Nashua, even though we have a dialysis center right.
That's something.
Yeah, right in
Yeah.
Milford.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's insurance based.
You're right. A lot of it is. Yeah.
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 Then another caller wanted a ride from Milford to Franklin, and it wasn't for a medical visit, it was a social, non-medical visit. So that wasn't something we were gonna pay for.
So what was the social for?
Social visit, that's what he said. He said it was a social visit and it would be multiple visits as well too. So it wasn't something that we could actually pay for. So that's just something we couldn't do. Then another caller wanted a ride from Nashua to Tewksbury, and the ride would have been over $200. So this brings me to the kind of sad part. We seem to be close to depleting some of the funds. So we have $181.45 left for taxi rides, and then $1,277.80 left for the wheelchair rides. So we're starting to work on trying to get some more funding in from the various, basically try to go to the banks and try to ask them for some, either rematch what they already gave us or try to keep going with that because they have community funds. And so hopefully we'll get going. That's kind of what's left from my understanding. You look perplexed?
Yeah, I am perplexed because I actually sit on the foundation that
Right,
manages
yeah.
the funds. And we didn't see the bank statement for April. So I'm just surprised that it's down that much, given the fact that this is match money to the federal 5310 funds, which does 80% of the cost. So I'll take a look at that. We have a meeting on Tuesday.
Okay, that's what I was told, because I want to keep track of it, because I didn't want to pay for that Tewksbury ride, because I know we couldn't afford it. So that's kind of what's going on there. But we are trying to look around for different funding to try to get it going again. And if you know that there's more there, that would be great. And then I don't have to kind of limit or think about it so much.
No, you have to think about it.
Well, I know I have to think
Yeah.
about it, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, so
But it's
if
more
you
money
want, so in terms of the Merrimack savings, if you plan to pursue that, just give us a memo, let us know what we're doing,
Yeah.
What you plan to ask for, that kind of thing, so that we can move that in the right direction.
Okay, so that's what's going on.
Nani, do you have another question?
Yes, please. The transportation need that Margaret Lauret brought up here at this forum. Please, has it been addressed? Margaret Lawrence,
She's
Is
here,
she
not,
here?
what's the question?
is she here?
No.
I remember that the last time I reached out to find out. I'm sorry, Donna, was she in touch with you about the transportation need for her health, her medical attention?
I'll let Margaret, I'd rather not answer that. You answer that if you want, Margaret.
Well, there is nothing I could tell you right now. No good news. I know that Donna has been in contact with a company that provides a similar service in other parts of Massachusetts. And they have a headquarters in New Hampshire as well. But the negotiations haven't been finalized yet, so I don't have any outcome right now. But it's a possibility because Massachusetts is doing it very successfully, providing actually free transportation.
Is this via?
Yes.
Okay.
So we can talk after the meeting now. I will call you. I don't know.
Thank you very much.
Just for those of you who maybe were around, a year or so ago when we had VIA in, it's a international corporation that provides ride services. The one I'm familiar with is the one down in Charleston, South Carolina, where they basically work with the local transit authority. And they do have routes and whatever. And when we had the VIA gentleman in who was showing us some different models, one from Arizona, I think, zonal, and then routes and that. The actual cost to implement it, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, was
Over $1 million.
it was well over $1 million.
Yeah.
Just to set it up. And then the ongoing operating costs were kind of an unknown.
Yeah.
But, and again, I'm just trying to make sure that people understand it's not just, they're gonna come in and do it. There's significant investment that would need to be made and significant funds that would need to be getting this even rolling. But take a look, go out, when you go home, Google it. It's very interesting to see this kind of transportation in action. It has been successful in other places, but I think most of the places where it's been successful is public transportation has kind of relinquished a lot of their role.
Well, I can find out how much it costs in Rhode Island and Southern Massachusetts because they haven't for quite some time. But I will be happy to provide you numbers.
That would be interesting to know what their setup cost was and what their ongoing operating costs are on an annual basis. And what their funding sources are.
It's combined. State, local municipalities, and small fees on the part of the passengers.
Mm-hmm. Donna, anything else?
No, I had ended.
Okay. Executive committee update. Executive committee did not meet in April. I will put out there that we are at the end of a 2-year cycle. Our directors and officers were elected in 2024. It's now time to revisit that. Nominations we need to do nominations next month. It's 30 days before our annual meeting. At a minimum, that nominations have to be made for our chair, vice chair, and 2 directors and our secretary. It's not on the agenda today, so I don't think it's fair to accept any nominations today. So that'll have to be on our May agenda, with the notion that our following meeting, whether it's in June or August, would be our annual meeting. So if there's anyone interested, put your thinking caps on now. It's not a heavy lift, I don't think, unless you're the chair.
You're staying on.
I don't know about that. It's the will of the group. It's the will of the group. But yeah, so that's coming up from our technical piece. What else? The locally coordinated transportation plan goals prioritization subcommittee didn't meet in April. We are meeting on May 15th. Thank you, James, for giving me the date because I didn't write it down. That group's making progress relative to 3 of the top and goals and recommendations that came out of the locally coordinated transportation plan. That, for those who might get into this jargon and say, what the hell is she talking about? That is a federally required plan that needs to be done. And it needs to list programs, changes, things that we want to do that we may want to get federal funding for. They've got to be listed in there. So it is one of those requirements. But within that, there were a lot of great recommendations that came out of our last plan that we wanted to prioritize. So we should have a good handle on that by our next meeting. Stay tuned. Carrie, since you're the chair of that, now that I've given the summary, you want to add anything?
No, I don't have anything else. You said it all. We're good. We're just plugging away, so. Yep.
Anyone else from the executive committee got anything to add?
I just have one quick thing. Donna kind of already said it, but the city's having our sustainability fair on Saturday. It's right over here at the library, 11 to 2. It's supposed to be outside. So we'll see, weather permitting, I guess. And it's a great event, to promote, all kinds of sustainable type things here in Nashua. There's like an electric vehicle showcase, and then Nashua Transit will have a table. I think Donna's going to be there, and usually they have people with like composting products or gardening things or any sort of thing of, green energy kind of nature. It's a great event. So yeah, come on by if you want.
I heard there might be a box turtle there. I know.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to leave the transit table.
So, do you like box turtles? Is that
I love all turtles.
okay? I didn't know that. I've learned, that's my learning lesson for the day. She loves turtles.
And kittens and puppies.
Gary, I saved a painted turtle earlier from last week. It was in the road,
Oh my goodness.
scooted in.
Oh, good for you. Thank you for doing that.
So you've given us a nice segue. What I'm gonna do is jump into outreach opportunities, and then we're gonna come back to member concerns and updates, because I think we'll have a lot of time to talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about Limeboro too. But in terms of outreach opportunities, that's another great one, the sustainability fair for the for the Nashua area. As Donna mentioned, the one in Milford was actually very well received this year. Good turnout. Donna was there. SVTC was there. At our table, we had information about NTS and their electric and their natural gas buses, as well as information about community transportation covering caregivers and us and the Greater Nashua Regional Community Transportation, Community Ride Program, pilot program. The one with all the letters in it that I can never really say right. It was a good turnout. So we probably will do that again next year. Coming up, the Milford Rotary Club does a senior barbecue. And a couple of years ago, we were invited to kind of organize a senior resources table there. So James has given me some information, and we'll be doing that. And they get about 300 seniors from the Sauhegan Valley, Merrimack area. It's always a good turnout. Hi, Amy.
Oh, sorry.
It's always a good turnout, and we will be including a lot of community transportation information as well as Meals on Wheels and other resources, so tell your people, tell Mr. Zach, maybe
Get ready.
send me some stuff.
We'll do.
And then right after that, again, I don't know about you guys, but now the door is open. All the events are starting in all of our little communities. I'm sure they will be throughout Nashua as well. Sarah, you guys got any outreach of stuff coming up?
Yeah, they should have brought flyers. There is actually a volunteer fair that we're co-hosting with the Nashua Public Library on May 7th in the evening. It's 5 to 7. There are still some openings for organizations to sign up if people are interested. Yeah, and it's we usually have around 40 organizations there, and it's I think this is the 3rd year since COVID we've done it, and it's always been very busy. So it's a good opportunity.
I think you've done that before, haven't you, James?
Yes, I've actually signed up for this year.
Good.
Yeah, this will be the 3rd or 4th year in a row, I think we've gone to that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a good event, and we also have a pickleball tournament coming up too in May. So if anyone likes pickleball, that's happening. And then we've got other things going on. So it is definitely event season, a community-wide food drive happening at the end of May. And then of course, Over the Edge is happening at the end of June. So we've got a lot going on.
Yeah, Over the Edge is one of their big fundraisers you do with Granite.
Yeah, we do. Yep. And I think we usually have around 24-ish organizations signed up where they send their volunteers to rappel down the outside of the Brady Sullivan building in Manchester. And it's usually around 120 people that end up doing it. We raise for all of the organizations close to $200,000. So it's a big event. It's really big, and it's all day long. And
Also at
a lot of fun.
I just called.
So now the question is, Sarah, have you ever rappelled over the side of the?
I have.
Oh, you did?
Bravo.
Well,
I went the first year
Yep.
and they messed up and I was upside down.
Oh, no.
that's scary.
All the people that
Yeah.
make upside down.
Yeah.
I will not get close to that building.
I would love to chance it. Despite my disability, I would love to chance it.
We had people with disabilities that do it. There was somebody that was in a wheelchair that was able to do it.
Wow.
People
I
able
know.
to do it, yeah.
They probably wouldn't be using their chair and doing it.
No, they didn't go down in their chair, but yeah, they made it work though. They made it work.
Is it
I
probably
was
got a
Jenny
big
Powell
sling
over
around
at
the
Granite
house?
State Independent Living.
I don't know if it was a sling. I think it was just the regular rappelling gear.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Victoria, so it was somebody from Granite State Independent Living, wasn't it?
Yes, it was one of our employees.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we have one of our case managers that does it every year. She's great at it.
Where does this take place again?
It's in Manchester. It's right on Elm Street.
It's at the Brady Sullivan Tower.
Okay, when is this?
It's at the end of May or June. I think it's June 23rd, 22nd.
Oh, I'll be in Nashville.
Yeah.
I won't be, I got my $2,000 ticket.
We're gonna feel sorry for you being in Nashville.
No, I go see Alan Jackson for the final time.
Ah, see?
That's $1,000 ticket. You don't want to miss that.
No, no, no.
Noni's got her hand up.
Um,
Do you have a question, Noni?
Okay, I thought we were making announcements. So I wanted to make an announcement.
Go for it.
Okay, thank you. The Let's Talk Zoom meeting is what I want to talk about because I've been announcing it in other meetings, and Sarah knows about it. Thank you, Sarah. I am happy to say that for how many years now, some of us elderly people have been talking. Let's talk. We've been talking on Zoom, and it's gaining more momentum because we are having some younger people who are our children or grandchildren that have been able to help us with technology, have make it possible for us to reach even beyond the shores of the United States. So some people have been joining us, and one of us just celebrated her 80th birthday and was able to get us to enjoy the 80th birthday by Zoom with her. So I'm just announcing it so that those of us who have parents or elderly ones who are no longer able to attend a lot of in-person meetings, we are here for you, and we meet every first and third Thursday of the month, 12 to 1, just 1 hour. So please help spread the word. Thank you all.
Recap.
Yeah, can anyone give, the audio was really bad on that. Can anyone do a
I think
recap?
she's saying she unable to attend meetings in person and everyone.
That's what I thought too.
Oh, I'm sorry, the audio was bad.
Yeah, it was, and it was so, what we think we heard through the bad
okay.
audio, not you, the bad audio, was, right now you're doing well using Zoom, because you're unable to come in person to any of the meetings, but Zoom is working for you.
Are you hearing me better now?
Yes.
Is it better? Okay. So I just want to request that you help so that we can reach as many people as possible that want or need to talk with others but are not able to be in person at meetings. So we are opportune to be able to reach them wherever they are, and we are announcing so that more and more people will be able to of the United States, because we are able to reach people in other countries. I'm glad to say that somebody or people from Nigeria have been joining. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Okay, thank you.
If I may say something about Zoom. The problem is that people who are on Zoom cannot hear people in the room well. And I think it's the problem with if you can afford this Eagle type of microphone, it would be much better.
It's a challenge in this room, and Matt, I'm gonna get to you in just a minute. Because I've noticed it, I've noticed it at other meetings that are held here. This is part of it, and it can happen in any meeting that's on Zoom if you don't have enough speakers or people don't speak up. I may sound like I'm talking loud, but that's because I want it to catch on this end. I know sometimes it's hard to hear some of you softer, gentler ladies down there.
And also, they could have a language barrier too.
Yeah, there's a mic there.
And the language barrier,
Down
sometimes.
there. Matt,
Oh, I was going to say that it's really the first I've heard that our Zooms from this room are hard to hear out in Zoom land. I hadn't really heard that, but I'm not a technology person, so I'll check that out.
It is.
And
I know
also,
it's
no,
hard on
we
other-
talked to Jay before, and I think you put in another speaker.
Yes,
I think they put in another speaker, but I know sometimes even with very quiet people.
Yeah.
Especially if they're sitting away from it, it is hard to hear. I only know that because I had to do a Zoom meeting.
Okay.
and she has a little bit of language barrier too.
Hmm.
Cause
Okay.
I don't think English is.
But I also think that her connection was a little wonky today too.
And her,
Again, if you compare to Victoria,
Mhm.
I think it was a connection issue too.
and it's like the language barrier is hard too, you know?
Yeah.
If English is not her first language, you know?
That's the thing.
Anyone else got any outreach events coming up that they want to talk about, mention, or invite any of us to attend to? All right, let's go back to community concerns. member updates, community concerns, anything going on? I know we've hashed out Medicaid transportation. Is there anything anyone wanted to bring to the floor today? Anyone out there in Zoom land that wants to bring anything to the floor today? Any questions? Right, I want to welcome again, Marcy from Limeboro.
Thank you.
We know Limeboro is kind of a, I don't want to call it a wasteland anymore, but it's been.
Up with Limeboro.
I know you did. But it's ever since the demise of FISH, Friends in Service Helping, which was a volunteer driver program, they weren't able to sustain themselves through COVID. So in 2020, they basically disbanded, and that left Limeboro with no outside other than neighbors and friends helping everyone out when needed or when available. They really haven't had any options, and I know that we've been trying to corral CBTC to look at expanding over and incorporating Limeboro, Wilton, because there are so many people that go that way for services.
What is CBTC?
Kentucky,
Oh, Kentucky.
yeah.
Actually, community
And
transportation volunteer.
Community volunteer transportation, yeah.
Kentucky, Peterborough area.
Right, but also people go to Milford.
No, they do, but it was two-way, but at the time too, there were a lot of people that were going over to the Bond Center in Peterborough.
Right.
The Limeboro is right in the middle.
But the Bond Center, I mean, the hospital's still there, but the Bond Wellness Center,
Doesn't exist.
it's no longer.
Yeah.
Right.
So we welcome you. We need some new energy and champions, and I believe you are part of the Wilton Limeboro Women's Club.
I am. But what started all this is because I saw messages on Facebook from people who needed rides. And one person appealed to the town they sent her to the women's club, and we found a volunteer driver that way. But I've also seen other needs on Facebook, so that's maybe a very small part of what's actually there. But one guy in particular wanted, I think he gets dialysis and needs regular rides to Milford and often hitches a ride, is what I understood from, it's very difficult. So I just think that if there's an opportunity that maybe we can work on in the town to work on getting transportation, and I can see there's basically the mobility ride that I've talked to you about, which you have used in Limeboro, and the bus, the
Sauhegan Valley Rides.
Yeah, the Sauhegan Valley Rides, and volunteer, like a volunteer group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have questions about liability and things like that with that kind of system, but I would just like to learn what the next step would be. What I think it needs to happen is we have to pay for part of it, obviously, the town, right? Like for the Sauhegan Valley transportation. So what's the first step? Is that you saying you'll do it if we get the money, or if we get the money, you'll do it?
There are a number of ways to approach it, and I'll give you the nutshell, but what I'm gonna suggest is I think you guys have a meeting coming up at the beginning of May.
Yes.
If it's possible for that meeting or the following meeting, Donna and I could come out to the meeting and also kind of give you the presentation, the nutshell, and kind of the overview of options and maybe directions. Because one of the things and I'm gonna speak for the Sauhegan Valley Transportation Collaborative, because we've been doing this a long time. We've always wanted to be able to assist a champion in Limeboro, especially after FISH expired. And we just haven't been able to rally the troops. But if we've got troops rallying now, that would be great. There are many ways to approach it. When we went to Mount Vernon, which is fairly comfortable size-wise, and talked to the selectmen up there, we pitched them that there would be a percentage, there would be a small cost. It wouldn't be the 100% of what the cost of service is, but it's a share of the budget. And for the first year, we actually got grant money to cover that. So we did the initiative to get the grant money to cover it so that they could try it out. And it worked out, and we moved forward. In Wilton, we did the same thing. we found the grant money, we kind of rallied it together, and did basically it was a pilot year. And then they incorporated that amount into their, Health and Human Services budget.
So it might be because the people who kind of set policy or have authority of that is the select board, but the women's club would be more the champions of it.
Yeah.
I see that. And maybe, I don't know which to start with, but yes, I would like for you to come and speak to the women's club and the select board, if that's at all possible.
One of the things that we found that, well, and again, I think we need to talk first about what model would work best in Lineborough. We've tried, well, I'm just gonna put it bluntly. Every time SVTC has mentioned Lineborough down to the Nashua Transit staff, they get green around the gills. The challenges are roads and access and distance. And it may be cost prohibitive to go that far, because if you look at it, your far edge of Lineborough is New Boston. I know Mount Burns is the same way, but it gets to an operational piece. But there are other models that could be perhaps tried and other partnerships that could be made.
Right. I think even like a central place in Lineborough, like say the library, or some place where people could go to get picked up, because I get our roads are terrible.
Like the village store.
Well, it's the libraries across from.
Yeah, I know. I used to walk to that library at 5, age 5.
But that's another idea too.
Right, okay, so what would come first? Like us maybe talking about options and then presenting it, or presenting the options to these groups?
I think it's options and questions.
Okay.
Gathering the information that would allow us to take it back to whichever group we're going to go to, or we may go to multiple. Again, one of them may be CVTC. We've asked caregivers about expanding into Lineborough and Mount Vernon, but that's not on your platform right now. So that would be a volunteer driver group, because again, trying to connect with an established volunteer driver group that has all the mechanisms in place, without having to reinvent the wheel kind of thing. But again, we respect that,
It's, like she said, it would be cost prohibitive.
Right. And we're only maybe 5 miles from Wilton, my house, Center Road. I mean, but that's, I get it, it's just spread out so far. So there are, but what would be best for me to ask for a meeting for the women's club first?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
just talk about all your needs and then what we know
Okay.
about the different.
And let's work together.
Right.
And again, I'm sitting here as the RCC chair. I'm the mobility and planning manager with SVTC, and my boss is sitting across from there. But I think we're all on the same page, because we've had the conversations too over the years, but how can we better help Lineborough? Lineborough and kind of Litchfield are two communities that don't have a lot of resources. You guys are there, but you don't get asked.
Getting deeper into Litchfield.
I'm willing to help with Lineborough because I grew up there.
Yeah.
I think the next step is Women's Club, it sounds like, are the champions. It's for,
And it's the Wilton Lineborough women. So Wilton, of course, already has people participating. So that would help too, because they have maybe experience and knowledge of what's going on. So I will ask today to be put on the agenda for whatever day you can meet.
when do you?
The next meeting's, it's the first Monday of the month.
I can't make it. I gotta be Fort Worth. The 4th.
So May
the 4th.
And I can confirm that. Sometimes they change it, and I haven't seen the next meeting date, but I believe it's May.
If that works for them. If
Yes.
they've got their agenda all set and can't.
I don't think they do, but I will ask about that, and then I can get back to you. I've been working with Donna, because I know there's,
Yeah, just want to just CC me on the email just to make sure yeah.
okay.
What time of the day is that?
It's in the evening, usually at 6 o'clock. It's usually in the, well, they do it in a couple different places.
Weather in that area can be tough as well. I've been some transports in your town and weather exacerbates
Well, you know,
the issues that exist on some of those back
yeah,
roads.
like 60% dirt roads.
Yeah.
So
And in the
storms
winter-
and, right, when you have things like dialysis, it's not like you can just push them off.
Right.
I mean, it may be that we eventually have a dovetailed, I don't want to say cobbled together, but a dovetailed picture of putting services together. You know, it may be that we rely on the Greater Nashua, oh my God, here we go, the Greater Nashua Community Rides Pilot Program, which we got to get rid of that pilot, guys. We really do. Too many Ps.
When does a pilot become?
Yeah,
Not
permanent this year probably. But dovetail that again for access to wheelchair rides with maybe a volunteer driver program. But then I'm going way ahead of myself on thinking about this.
Well, I'm happy to help in whatever way I can. And I guess the first step, I will see about when, if I can get on the agenda for the next meeting, when it will be, where, and let you know. And if you can come, we'll go from there. Would you be coming too? Possibly. Good. I know Carol, so.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
So,
Good.
yeah.
If I could, I would.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm not gonna be out of state, man.
How many people usually attend?
15 or 20.
Okay. I wasn't sure what your numbers were right now.
Yeah, we have quite a few members. Not everybody comes to the meetings. Sometimes it's 10. It depends on what the topics are.
Well, this would be great because again, the other piece of it is, you know, some of the challenges that we have in Limeboro, we have in Wilton too.
Right.
You know, driveways that the NTS vehicle can't negotiate because of pitch or no turnaround. And we don't have a volunteer driver program there. I'm gonna go way out on a limb and because I am very hopeful that with all of the rural health transformation monies that have come into the state, that if by chance the Monadnock region gets a little of that, that we might be able to benefit because Limeboro is considered a rural town under that grant. And I think we could make a case maybe for part of Wilton too, but Limeboro is, so there may be some ways to promote, champion, or set the stage for an expansion of an existing service if those funds are available.
And we're also working on our master plan. I haven't been involved with the transportation committee for that, but I know the two people who are on it, and I would like to talk to them too about if something comes out of this, that they get it into the master plan.
Who are those two people, may I ask?
Richard Herforth and Dr. Roy. He's a retired dentist.
Yeah, okay. And I'm asking that because now I'm wearing my vice chair of the Milford Planning Board hat. Thank you very much.
And they're just part of the committee that's working on master plan. They're not on the planning board.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I know Dr. Roy's sons very well.
Anyone else got anything they want to add today?
But we do want to take a picture of Sarah presenting the laptop to Amy, so.
Sure.
So we could do that, and we'll do like one, just Sarah, if you want to do that now, and then we could actually have the other partners in the background too, if you want. So we'll see, we'll get a couple of photos.
If they want to get in it or what?
I think that line lost.
Yeah.
This is the way it should
We
be. I
had,
think it's great.
there was another one of your neighbors that kind of started down the path of working with us and it just didn't come to fruition. This was a couple of years ago.
You know who that was?
I had to go back and.
Yeah,
Everybody's fine.
Tells her a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Trust me.
good, let me get.
I know all about that.
Actually, I think we've met.
Everybody else want to get in?
We wanna go get in the
But it's-
picture?
But it's outside of ours. It's
It's a community, it's just
Anyway.
community, like people working together, the RCC, we're doing stuff for our members, they're helping each other. I mean, nobody has to be in the picture. If you want to be in the picture, you could. We have.
How about you get in the picture?
Yeah,
Why don't you get in the picture?
Yeah.
Why don't you get in the picture, Donna? So why don't you get in the picture, Donna, and Matt can take the picture?
Okay.
There you
So I guess we're gonna do another picture.
I got you.
I forget that copy that you're whatever.
She's gonna.
Yeah.
Back later.
Years ago.
She had great things to say about that.
There you go.
It's all right. You'll find, oh my gosh.
Funny, so I plugged into like, yeah, we knew that, give them more, study more.
I think there's
Alright.
more money available.
Yeah, that's a small matter.
One of those three have got to come out really good.
You know, something.
Were you gonna, you know, there, you could adjust, so you could find this from that address.
Yeah.
Be sure, like, one person's not smiling.
If nobody has anything else,
Okay.
anyone on Zoom have anything else you'd like to share?
So,
If not, we're gonna adjourn
Okay.
and
Yeah.
everyone go enjoy the
Yeah, I
sunshine.
just wanna make sure I didn't.
thanks, everybody on Zoom. Appreciate it.
Those posters. that
Thanks,
were
guys.
Yeah. In the middle of it. Water.
Thank you, goodbye.
Yeah. it's just-
Thank you.
Oh,